Hi guys, it's LeJanaro back with another video. I would like to say welcome to all of my new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel, and also everyone who keeps coming back each time I post a new video. So I am slowly trying to get back in the groove. It's not happening as fast as I would like it to, but hey, this is how things go. But today I am working on McCall's 7100. This is the bomber jacket. I'm doing view C. View C is this one here at the bottom. And I hope you all can't hear that music from my neighbors. As soon as I sat down to record this intro, they turned on their music. So yes, I will be working on this. Not showing sewing, the actual sewing part in here, because every time I tried to find a good angle, my camera would fall. So I didn't want to break my camera. So I'm just basically doing the instructions here on the table, showing you how to put this bomber jacket together. Just in case you have it or you were thinking about sewing it. I'm not real sure if the pattern is out of print or not. I can't remember from my last video, but I did check and I don't remember. I will check again, and if it's out of print, I will put some sources where you can find the pattern. I know sometimes patternreview.com will have some patterns, and then sometimes the pattern websites may have a PDF version of it. So if you don't already have it in your stash, I will try to find some sources for you to find this pattern. So I made the pattern out of this scuba knit, this houndstooth smoother knit, scuba knit, and I just put Ponte knit on the outsides of it. I was going to use that ribbing that I had, but I decided against it, and I just used black Ponte knit on the sleeves, around the collar, and then the bottom. All right. But it came out pretty good. I'm satisfied with the results. I did not line it this time. I usually line my bomber jacket when I make it, but I decided not to. I did serge the insides of it, just to clean it up a bit. But it fits pretty good. So I'm happy with the results. So I'll make sure you go through your pattern instructions. The pattern instructions are pretty good for this pattern. Every time I've had to make it, I've had to read the pattern instructions. So the pattern instructions are very good. I was able to follow them, make the pattern. Also, make sure you look to see the length of the zipper that you need. My zipper was about 1.5 inches too short, so I had to shorten my lower band on my jacket, but it's fine. But definitely make sure that you look to make sure you get all of the notions and everything you're going to need, your fabric, your zipper, your interfacing, all of that's in your pattern instructions. All right, so let's get started making this jacket. All right, so like I said, I'm doing view C, and I have piece number 7, which is my sleeve band. Piece number 8, which is my collar. Piece number 11, which is the lower band. For the sleeve band I cut 2, for the collar I cut 1, for the lower band I only cut 1. Piece number 6, which is my sleeve, you cut 2. Piece number 9 is the front band. You need to cut 2. Also make sure you look at your pattern piece to see which pieces you need to cut interfacing out on as well. I have piece number 4, which is the side front. You cut 2. Piece number 3, your pocket, cut 4. Piece number 1, your front, you cut 2. And piece number 5, you cut 1 on the fold. All right, so let's see what we got to do first. I also have my zipper. Make sure you read your pattern to find out everything you're going to need as far as notions, interfacing, and different things like that. It'll tell you what size zipper you need and anything else that you need. All right, since I am doing view C, I am going to take one pocket and one of my front pieces. All right, so here are my front pieces. I'm just laying them out here. And I am going to add pockets to both. All right, so I'm going to grab 2 of my pocket pieces, 1 for each side. And with right sides facing, I am going to pin my pocket. Right, you should have circles, notches, all of the things, right? Right, and you are pinning the pocket in this curve, not the straight, because that's where you're going to put your zipper. So you're lining your pocket up, and that's where you're pinning your pocket. And I really hope you can see that. So just in case you could not see it, you're pinning your pocket. Here's the curve here coming from your underarm. You're pinning your pocket on this side. You're not pinning your pocket on the straight edge, because that is where your zipper is going to go. All right, so you take your pocket, put them right sides facing, pin, and you are going to sew in between the large circles. So wherever you marked your large circles, that is where you're going to sew. If you do not remember where your large circles are, just take your pattern piece, place it down, and you have a large circle here and a large circle here. And you're going to sew between the large circles. I'm just going to pin this, then I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and I'm just going to sew between my circles. Okay, somebody's sending me a million text messages. Alright, so next pieces you need to grab are your side front pieces. Alright, and then grab your other two pockets. So you are going to pin the other two pockets with right sides facing on the curved side. All right, not on the straight side, on the curved side. Right, and again, you should have notches and circles and all of the things. Right. And you are going to sew between the circles just like you are going to do on the front pieces with the pocket. Alright, so I'm just going to pin this in place. And after you sew both your side fronts, sew the pockets to your side fronts and sew the other pockets to the front, you press the seams towards the pocket, right? So when you do your pressing, you press the seams towards your pocket. Sorry about that bad view earlier. But I'll make sure I have it together for the rest of the video. Alright, so you are going to sew in between your large circles. Okay, so take one front and one side front. Go ahead and fold back your pocket, and remember your seam allowance is going towards the pocket. Right? So you're going to place these two with right sides facing. Alright, so take your side front and you're going to place it with right sides facing to the front. Alright, and you're going to pin. You should have some notches. I swear my neighbors are having a stomp fest up there. I will never understand why they walk so hard. Alright. Seam allowance going towards the pocket. Alright, so when you sew this, the large circles that you just sewed between for your pocket, you're going to leave that open. So I'll show you in just a second what you're supposed to do. Just want to get it pinned together real quick. Alright, so what you're going to do, you're going to sew from here to the first large circle and you're going to stop. Then you're going to come down here to the next large circle and sew from here to here. Alright, once you get that done, then you're going to sew around your pocket. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pin my pocket together. Alright, so you're going to sew from here to your large circle, stop, then go down to the next large circle, sew from there all the way down, and then you're going to sew around your pocket. Alright. Okay, so now that that is done, you got your side front sewn to your front and your pockets. You're going to now take your pocket and you're going to place it going towards your front piece, not your side front. Place it going towards your front piece and you're just going to baste it in place. Alright? Right? And remember, it's going towards your front piece. You're just going to baste it in place. Alright, so I got this one done. So now what you're going to do, you're going to take your back piece open it. Oh, these are my sleeves. I was like, why do I have two back pieces? Oh boy. Alright, take your back piece, open it up. And with right side spacing, you're going to put your sides, you're going to sew your sides to your back piece. Alright, I'm going to just check the view of the camera. Alright, so this is one of my side fronts. You're going to take it and you're going to place it with right side spacing and you're going to sew it together at the sides. So I'll bring this over a little bit. Alright, you should have some notches here. Right, so this is your front, your side front, your pocket. Placing it with right side spacing on your back piece and sewing your side seams together. And you're going to take your other front and pin it to the other side. Alright, once you get the other front pinned to this side, you take it to the sewing machine and then you sew down both sides. Alright, so it's starting to look like a jacket. I need to do some serging, but it's a little too late for me to run my serger, so I'll do that part tomorrow. So let's go ahead and set this aside. Go ahead and grab your sleeve bands. Right, and what you're going to do, you're going to take your sleeve bands right, you're just going to fold them in half. You should have notches. I can't remember if I said that or not. Alright, you fold them in half and then you just sew down the edges, and then once you sew down the edges, you'll fold it in half. Well, I'll show you that once it's done. Now grab your sleeve, both your sleeves. I'll do one and then you do the other one the same way. Your sleeve has a dart, right? So what I like to do with my with darts, I cut little tiny snips, and then I mark the point of my dart. So I put little tiny snips here, and then I mark the point of my dart. And that's how I know where to draw my lines. Because a lot of times I'll cut out something and I may not cut it for days, sew it for days, I mean. And so those marks help me. So I'm just taking my ruler and my friction pen. I don't know how well you can see that, but the dart is on your pattern piece, so that helps you as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this, place it with right side spacing. I'm going to pinch here at my point, right, and then I'm going to match up where I cut my two little slits here, right, and then at my point where I pinched, I'm going to put a pin, right. I'm going to make sure those lines that I made are matching up, so I'm just going to use a pin to do that. Right, so I got my line here and my line here, and I just kind of stuck my pen through. And this just kind of helps me to know where I need to sew. And you can use as many pins as you want to, because the fabric does shift. So, right. Might not be the most elegant way to do it, but that is how I do it. I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and I'm going to start here and I'm going to sew down to my point, right? And then we're going to leave a tail on my point so that I can tie the threads off, but I'll show you that in a second. All right, take your sleeve band, scrunch up your sleeve, place your sleeve band through. You have a notch on your sleeve and you have a notch on your sleeve band. Line those up. And pin. And then you have a seam here and a seam here. This is a lot of layers. So go ahead and line these seams up and pin. Right? Pin all the way around and then sew all the way around. And do the same thing with the other sleeve. Once you get that done, go ahead and grab your front and back piece that you put together. Right, and with right side spacing, I'm just going to open this up here, and this is me working with one side. Trying to find my notches. Aha. Alright, so I got 2 notches here, got 1 notch over here. This is my back piece. Alright, here's my sleeve, here's my 2 notches, here's my 1 notch. So this is going to look funny at first. So I'm going to line up my 2 notches. And pin. And I'm just pinning this side. Right? Then you're going to roll it around. You got your underarm area here. You got your seam allowances. Go ahead and match up those seams. And then roll the sleeve on around. Well, actually, you don't have to roll your sleeve around. Just take the front piece and match up the notch, the 1 notch, to your sleeve. Right? And then pin the rest of the way. Right, once you finish pinning both sides, both sleeves to both sides, take it to the sewing machine and you're just going to sew around. Right, so let's do this side. So I have no idea if you can see that. Oh boy. Alright, so here's the sleeve. Here's the back. You have 2 notches. Here's the front. You have 1 notch. So here's my sleeve. find your 2 notches. You're going to place them with right sides facing. And pin. Right, so now this is the front part of your jacket. You have 1 notch. So just take it and find the 1 notch on the other side of your sleeve and just match those up. Once you have those notches matched up, you can go ahead and do the underarm area. Alright, and then you just pin the rest of the front side, and then take the back side and pin the back to the back of the sleeve. And then once you get it all pinned, take it to the sewing machine and sew around. Alright, so I'm going to kind of stray away from the instructions just a little bit. In the instructions, you put the front band on first, then add the zipper. But I'm going to go ahead and attach the front band to the lower band because you end up attaching them anyway. So I'm just going to take the front band, and there's notches. And I'm just going to place them with the right sides facing, pin at the notch, and then pin all the way down. That way the band will already be together, and I'll just go ahead and sew it to the bottom of the jacket. One less step. Alright, so I'm just going to take this to the sewing machine and just going to sew down that edge, and then I'm going to add it to the bottom of the jacket. Alright, so I got those 2 pieces sewn together. Now I'm just going to take the jacket. This is the bottom of the jacket. I'm just going to spread it out. I know probably some of this is probably off camera. See if I can adjust it a little bit. Alright, so I'm just going to take this bottom band and I'm just going to flip it, place it with right sides facing, and pin it to the bottom of the jacket. I am gonna have to stretch this a little bit while I'm sewing, just to make sure it fits. So I'm just gonna place a few pins. And once I finish pinning, I'm just going to sew across. Alright, also grab your collar. And with the collar piece, you just fold it in half. You have some notches here, and you have notches here on around the collar part of the jacket. Go ahead and pin those together. And when you sew this, you're going to sew from circle to circle. There's a circle on your pattern piece, so make sure you mark that. and you're gonna sew from circle to circle. Then once you add the zipper, you'll finish it up because you'll be using your collar to kind of cover up the raw edge of your zipper. So I'm just gonna continue to pin this. If I can find my pins. I have pins on the collar, but I might need a few more. Alright, so now we're going to add our zipper. So go ahead and unzip the zipper. And it's a separating zipper, so you unzip your zipper. And you're gonna place your zipper face down. Alright? Face down. So your zipper teeth should be going away from the edge. Right, and I'm just gonna do kind of like some test ways to lay it down just to make sure when I get ready to fold the band at the bottom there's not like any looseness or anything. Make sure everything is nice and snug. So I'm just gonna take some pins, pin my zipper in place. Make sure your zipper is face down. And you pin both sides of the zipper face down. Because after you sew your zipper on, you're going to flip it over like this. Alright, so let's see. And when you sew it, make sure you're using your zipper foot. So let me fold this over real quick, and then when I fold the bottom up, alright, so I need to bring it down a little bit on the top. So just play with your zipper until you get it completely right. I can't bring it too far down because I still have to sew and cover it up. So, and there's always ways to maneuver. Because it looks like my zipper is like just right. Or my zipper could stand to be a little bit longer, but my other zipper is too long. So we'll make it work though. Even if I have to trim down my band down here, which I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to move my zipper because you'll get this hard part right here. You definitely don't want to sew over that and break your needle. So I'm going to leave that right where it is. And then I'm going to take the other side and I'm going to pin it face down. Make sure I do face down right. That was not right. And then just take it to the sewing machine and just pin it. Take it to the sewing machine and then just sew down both sides of your zipper using your zipper foot. Alright, so I have the zipper attached. I also went ahead and finished up sewing the edge of the collar. when you sewed the collar, you sewed from dot to dot. So I just went ahead and from dot all the way to the edge, sewed that up and did it on both sides. So I just finished up the seam and it covers up the zipper. All right, the top raw edge of the zipper. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip my zipper and I'm going to top stitch all the way down on both sides. All right, so I'm going to flip the zipper. I'm going to top stitch all the way down, including this part here. I'm going to top stitch this part as well. It'll be kind of like doing a hem on that part. All right, so flipping my zipper over so that the right side of the zipper is showing, and I'm going to top stitch all the way down on both sides. Once I do that, then I'm going to go ahead and fold up my lower band. All right, so let's pretend that this is done already. So you got this part here, you fold it up and just make sure that it's here on the zipper tape. Alright, so you're folding that hem edge up and you're just going to sew it here on the zipper tape. I'm going to have to cut my band a little bit because it's way too thick, so I'm going to have to cut about, let's see, I'm going to have to cut a lot. I'm going to have to cut about 1.5 inches off of my band. Alright. But you want to, like I said, you flip the zipper over, you sew all the way down, so it's going to be like a hem on this part. And then once you do that, you do this on both ends. You fold it up. Alright. And this little hem part should be, you'll fold it up like this because you don't want to cover your zipper because you won't be able to zip your jacket. So you'll sew this up to about right here, and then you'll do the same thing on the other side and then just sew across to sew the rest of your band up, because you're going to fold up the whole band, right? And then you'll just sew across and finish up your jacket. Alright, the jacket is all done. I had to cut my bottom band down a lot because my zipper wasn't long enough. My zipper needed to be about inch and a half longer maybe, but it still worked out fine. There's ways to maneuver when you don't have exact things, but I usually line my bomber jackets. I decided not to line this one, and I'll go ahead and tell you I don't like it unlined. So whenever I make another one, I will make sure that I line the jacket. And I also didn't really like this fabric. I don't like the way it's sewed up. I like making this pattern with woven fabrics. But yeah, other than that, it needs a good press, and I can start wearing it. Just like everything else I made, eventually I'll get outside and take some photos. But yeah, it's all done. Hopefully my instructions were clear, and if you guys have this pattern, the instructions can help you guys get through it. Alright guys, that is it. That is the bomber jacket. Hopefully my instructions were clear enough for you to follow the instructions. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Bomber jacket turned out great. I love it. I don't know if I'm going to make it again. I've made this bomber jacket about 4 times now, I think. Yeah, I think about 4 times I've made this bomber jacket. I may look for the pictures and post them up on the screen, but I know I've showed them on different videos in the past of me showing sewing makes that I've made. But if I can find them, I may have to do some screenshots off of Instagram. I will put them at the end of the video. So question of the day, do you prefer texting or talking on the phone? I prefer texting most of the time. I will pick up the phone and call someone if I'm driving. Me and mommy talk a lot throughout the day, so of course we talk on the phone. But other than that, a lot of friends sometimes, family, coworkers, I do prefer text. There's a lot of memes that go around to say, you know, think about before you press the button to call me, think about this. Can this be sent in a text? And I just find that to be very funny. So yeah, I prefer texting unless it's a certain person. Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. All right, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and also hit the notification bell so you'll be notified each time I post a new video. And I'll see you in the next one.